Welcome to Snail Trail 4x4. Today we're going to be installing a Borla exhaust system on a 5th gen 4Runner. You can find the tire removal kit in this little compartment here on the side. You can just pop this off. There's also the bottle jack in there. And then you can come out with all these pieces. I already put this one together, and then what we're going to be doing is that goes right through this hole down here. It slides in. It slides up into where the tire goes. And then we can lower the tire down to the ground. That's step one, remove this tire. Our next step is to remove the muffler, and we're going to remove these two 14mm bolts. The stock muffler is welded on the underside, at least on this vehicle it is, and so what we're going to do is we have to undo the bolts from the top side, and it just is a little bit more of a pain in the butt. Then we have two bolts to remove on the front. I'll show you that next. And then we already lubed up all these rubber isolators, so then they'll just slide on off. So there's two 14mm bolts on this front flange here. There's one on each side. They're just spring loaded. They're pretty easy to remove or loosen. We're going to pull those off. Then we just pull off all the rubber isolators, and then the stock mufflers out, and we put the big bad Borla in. To make this part easier on yourself, leave one of the top bolts slightly attached, just loosened, and then undo all the rubber isolators. So then you don't have to support the muffler and try to undo the rubber isolator at the same time. So there's one last isolator right here that we're going to yank it off, and then we have to unsnake this section of the exhaust out. This is probably one of the hardest parts. There's a shield right here that I might think about taking off, but we'll see how it goes. This is going to be I remember doing this last time. It was a pain in the butt. That was easy. That was so much easier when you took off that shield. It came out with not a problem, so I had to totally advise taking that shield off. It didn't say that to do that in the instructions, but you saw how fast that came out once we got it there. You still have to snake it a little bit to get it out, but yeah, pull that shield off. So this is the back half of the Borla exhaust. It has a slightly different setup here at the back where we had two 14mm bolts that we needed to take out, but this one just has a simple clamp. It's easier to show you out of the rig how this is going to work besides underneath it and where it's dark. But we're going to snake this back through, then we're going to put the clamp on and up and hold it up high. This will be up top. Then when we put the muffler in, the muffler tube will come inside here. Then we'll bring this clamp back over and we'll tighten it up. And that's going to hold the exhaust system together there at that point. The only other thing we need to do is this isolator on this end, and that'll hold this section up. Now we're going to slide this back into place. Pretty much the same exact way that we took it out, just backwards. Which went this way first. That goes there. Now I'm going to push this isolator back in. So the isolator's on up here. Now it's just holding itself into place. It's totally snaked into the proper position. We're going to put that clamp on, like I showed you, and make sure it's held up there. Slide that muffler into place and bring that clamp back down. And then make sure that the muffler is all held up by the isolators. Bolted on in the front, bolted on in the back. And we're going to be done. Super quick install. Put the clamp over the end on the muffler. Now I'm going to slide this up into place, just held with some of these rubber isolators at first. not a 14. Here's the muffler section, and this is the rest of the exhaust. I already just set the clamp on there beforehand. We're going to just push that up and tighten it up right there. This bolt, this nut, is a 15 millimeter. So these bolts on the front flange torque down to 20 foot-pounds. Muffler's on. Let's have a listen. Let's have a listen.
Let's have a good listen. Let's just have a good old listen. Wah, 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 wah.
Thanks for watching this episode of Snail Trail 4x4 where we installed the Borla exhaust on the 5th Gen 4Runner. We're really happy with this exhaust. It's a lot more throaty than the stock one is, but it's still actually really mellow compared to the MagnaFlow one that we've installed. We can still feel a bit of throttle response and some more horsepower by this one over the stock, so we're actually really happy with it. We like the fact that it's a little bit more quieter on this rig, but we do have that MagnaFlow that we do enjoy that good throaty exhaust sound from. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit mellow, this is a great choice for you. Hammer down on that subscribe button, and don't forget, keep crawling.
Snail Trail 4x4.